Welcome back to my channel. I'm Barbara Jane, the Stamping Queen. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. This wonderful, gorgeous new catalog, and you could get your own if you send an email to me at barbarajane@gmail.com. I would be happy to send you one in the mail. But this catalog, you'll notice all of these layouts here. Well, there's no sizes, there's no any indications of what materials you would use. And so I would like to go over how I do this to get sizing and the look mostly the same as what these layouts are. And so tonight we're going to work at this one. I have made myself a tool, and this is the tool. All it is starting with what would be a standard A2 size card, which would be 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. These layers are just 1/4 of an inch smaller all the way down to 2 1/2 by 3 3/4. And this is how I use them. So this is going to be my regular finished card. You know, it folds, but this is just representative so that we can go through and I can figure out what these layers are going to be. So this layer, the one behind, looks square. So I'm gonna take this this layer, and we're going to see which one I like the best. So that one's not too bad. I think we're going to stick with this. And this is square, this is rectangular, but I'm going to cut it off at 3 by 3. And so I'm just going to make a little note for myself, and it's going to be 3 by 3. Then I know what to cut it, and I don't have to remember it. Oh, let me write it down so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm just going to draw this, then I can write all of my notes on here. And I don't draw too well, but it'll get the idea across. So then you'll be a little more comfortable being able to make these cards. And then this layer is not exactly, I don't know, it's not exactly what I'm going to want. So let's see what I can do to find the layer that I want to use. So it's going to look like this. This is going to be square, and we can remember that. So let's do this. Let's see. I think I'm gonna like that. So we're gonna go with 2 3/4 by 4 for this layer here, and it's 2 3/4 by 4. So that's here. Now you will notice on each of these layers I have a few things written on them, and I'm going to tell you how I use those and what I use them for. So each of these layers I have written on it the size, and these are decimals, and this is in fractions. It's just so that I don't have to think about it too much. And then this information right here is if I were going to make a layer, so it would be a layer like this would be the layer, and this would be the piece underneath it. And this piece, so this number is going to be so that I have a 1/16 of an inch reveal. It's a very small reveal. And I like it like that. So that's what I have this number here, these numbers here for. Then I don't have to think about it. I don't have to figure out what my cuts are going to be. So if I'm going to use this kind of a diagram and a layout, then I also need a sentiment. I'm not too worried about the size of the sentiment. This looks like about 3 by maybe 1/2 or 3 by 3/4 of an inch. But I have it all laid out for you. I have 2 cards cut out with these measurements using this information. And so I'm going to show you what those are. So the first one is, this is Berry Burst and Lemon Lime Twist. So of course, this is the card base. And so it's going to fold, and you always fold, this is the bump, you can feel it when you run your finger over it. You always fold that so that you fold to the bumpy part. And make sure it's nice and straight. And then smooth it over. So using this little diagram here, my first layer is going to be 3 by 3. And indeed, this is 3 by 3. And so this layer piece is 3 1/8 by 3 1/8, because I like a very narrow reveal, and this will make a very narrow reveal. So I'm going to glue this. And I use this Tombow liquid glue. You can get that, of course, through my online store. And I just like a little tiny reveal. So I'm just going to move it here until it looks like it's about 1/16 of an inch from this side and from this side. And I'm going to put my finger here, but that allows me to swivel it here without bothering this alignment here. And because I used glue, I do have just a second or two that I can move this if I need to. Well, I didn't need to move it that much. And there we have it. I'm happy with that. And now I'm going to take this and lay it here. It's going to be pretty cattywampus, and it's going to be right about in the middle. So let's glue up this layer. And it's going to go like this. I want it kind of in the middle, not exactly in the middle. I want this edge and this edge to be about the same distance. So I'm just going to move it a little bit until it looks like it is. And then I'm going to press this down, and that's good. This piece is 3 3/4 by 4 inches. But remember, this is 3 3/4 by 4 inches, but this is going to be my layer piece behind it. So I just wrote that here so I didn't forget. And now I'm going to glue this down. All right. And there again, it's going to be just a very narrow reveal, and I know that it's going to be about 1/16 of an inch. So I'm just going to start that here so that it looks like it's about 1/16 of an inch from this side and from this side. And I'm just going to hold this corner, because that way I can swivel the whole piece until I get it about as lined up as I want it to be. This looks even here. This looks even here. And now I'm going to take it and press it down really good. And now we're going to glue this piece on. And it's not going to be exactly straight, but it is going to be in the other direction. And it's not going to be really, it's not going to be straight, but there again, I'm going to try and make this space and this space about the same. And that's a little wide yet. So I'm just going to turn it a little more. And there, I can press that in place. And so on the inside, I like to put a layer, a white layer on the inside. I like to use a colored cardstock for the base. Some people just want to use white for their base, but I like the colored cardstock. And so I always put a white mat on the inside so that people have something easy to write on and easy to read. So there again, I'm going to start over here. And I just want this to be about 1/8 of an inch and about 1/8 of an inch. Then I'm just going to hold it, because that way I can still swivel this, rotate it until it's even, and that looks even to me. I want this up just a little higher though. I'm not, well, I didn't want to move, and I'm totally fine with that. So that's the inside, and now all we have left is a sentiment. were you with me the other night when I showed you how that we could cut things even if we didn't have dies to go with it? Well, it's kind of what we're going to do now. So I have two different sentiments, and it's the same sentiment, it's just cut in two different ways. I'm going to get rid of this catalog while we're doing this part. So it's the same sentiment cut in two different ways, and we have a couple of choices. So the back of the two-sided cardstock always has a design on the back, or we can use just a plain color. I think I want to use this design on this card, and it's going to go like right in there. And I want to use this. You'll notice it's got a little chevron cut out of it, and I'm okay if it just stays like that for right now without the chevron cut, and I'll show you how to do that. So I'm going to glue it, and then I'll take this piece and I'm just going to lay it down evenly across the bottom so that it's got about 1/8 of an inch. You can have a little bit more, I'm fine with that, and then press it in place. Now, how do we do this? I'll show you, it's easy. So take your snips, and first things first, I'm just going to cut this off to length, and now I'm going to cut here along this edge, and I'm going to try and keep it as consistent as possible along this edge. I want it to be about 1/8 of an inch. So here we go. And there we go. That's a little narrower than I want it, so I'm just going to trim this up a touch. I just like it to be mostly consistent, as consistent as I can make it. Oh, I like that. So how do you cut this chevron? It's not that difficult. You start at the edge and you cut straight in. Remember, I need to leave almost 1/8 of an inch, so I'm just going to cut in to that point, but not all the way. And then this side, I'll leave about 1/8 of an inch, maybe just a tiny bit less, and cut right up to that line that I made. And there it is, and then turn it over and do the other side. And I don't exactly like that angle, so I'm just going to trim it up just a little bit more. There, I like it. So now we're going to do the same thing on this side, cut straight in, and then trim the two side pieces, and trim the side piece. And that's pretty good. This is a little bit wider than I want it to be, so I'm just going to trim it up now that I can see it on this side. That's good. And this is just going to go right here. And I like that. So we're going to glue it on and layer it here. And I want it to be just a little bit, I don't want it to be even with any layer. I want it to be about like that. I'm just checking out to see if it looks straight to me, and it looks straight to me. So now I'm going to press it down. I like it. So let's do this. Let's do the other one that I cut out. It's just opposite, and by opposite I mean it's got a lemon lime twist base and berry burst as the contrast. There again. Fold it to the bump. I don't know why I think I should do that, but it seems to make sense to me because I am thinking that when you press in with the stylus to make the score line, it seems to me like this part where the divot is stretched farther. It just seems to be a cleaner fold to me. I don't know. I might be all wet with that, but that's what I do, and that's why I do it. So I don't know that it really makes a big difference, It might not. So now this piece is going on the inside and looks straight. And here we go. These go together so quickly. And I'm glad that they do, because I like it like that. Well, that's not what I meant to do. It's all right. So let's layer this. And because I got glue on here, I'm just going to wipe it off really, really firmly, and that should take the glue off. And you'll notice I got a little glue here as well. And so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to wipe it really hard, really firmly, and that should take the glue off. So now this layer, and here we go. And this should be about 1/8 of an inch all the way around. Press it down. And now let's layer it all together. And I think that's the way that I want it. And I'm going to go a little bit more of an angle. So I just want this edge and this edge to be about the same distance from the card edge. And now I'll glue this one up. Yep, I'm happy with that. And we're going to go this way just a little. And there again, I want this spacing and this spacing to be as close as I can get it to the same. And so because we used the other side of the DSP last time, we're just going to use a piece of the lemon lime twist. This time, this has a score line in it, but I'm just going to lay it in there anyway. It'll miss the score line. And so I'm going to bring it right close to the top because I just want a tiny, tiny little reveal this time. All right. And then we'll just trim that off. And I'm just going to trim it. I'm just going to just follow the angles and follow the lines. And then we're just going to come along this side. Very small reveal. It's pretty easy. Once you get the hang of it, it's really easy to cut it so close. And there we have it. And I'm going to put this right about here, but you see, I don't want, actually I do want, I was going to say I don't want these lines to be the same, but I think I do. So here we go. And I kind of do like it there. I like it. And that's really good because that's almost straight. I could move this down just a touch. I'm happy. I'm happy. So that's 2 cards. And also the way that I use this tool, I'll leave these measurements for you in the description of the video so that if you would like to cut your own, you may, and I'll put all of this information so that you have that all in one place. And so these are the 2 cards that we made tonight with the layouts from the catalog and this tool. So until next time, happy crafting.